understand Christian Laettner, 6'6", tall, handsome, cocky, successful. There's some venom. But with Cam, the venom is too intense for the silly stuff. He wore a hat to an NBA game. Who gives a rip? He sat in the first row at the Staples, which is like 6 feet removed from the second row. Who cares?
A lot of people wear crazy hats to games when they're sitting courtside.
This is not Indiana.
No, did you see Beyonce and Jay-Z when they went to the game? I think it was 2 weeks ago, and Beyonce literally wore sunglasses and a hat the entire game, and she's indoors.
Again, the person who sits front row at an Indiana Pacers game is a very successful insurance salesman. He runs a local accounting firm. He's a partner in a law firm. In Los Angeles and New York, who sits front row? They're celebrities. They're fashion icons. They're stars. In fact, a lot of those people go and they've got consultants. You're going to be on TV. Wear this.
Yeah.
You're going to be on TV. Sit next to this person. I mean, it's a real game. That's the way it works in Miami. That's the way it works in LA. That's the way it works in New York. It doesn't work that way with the Milwaukee Bucks. The guy sitting at the front row at the Milwaukee Bucks is a very successful lawyer. He's a local neurosurgeon. He makes a great living and he loves sports. Takes his kids. But in LA, it's a scene. It's LA's Hollywood. Miami's international. New York is fame and iconic people. But with Cam, there's just too much. The emotion and the anger too often doesn't match reality. Who gives a rip? Or a hat. 866-987-2570. Peter King's around the corner. Rick Bucher, too. Boy, that Laker-Cav game, I know it was an NBA regular season game, but it was really fun to sit there and watch LeBron and watch Kobe, knowing one guy's in his prime, trying to reinvent himself. One guy's leaving. Kobe had a move, low post, that was so sensational. It was so Kobe. First of all, he had about 4 baskets that looked like Kobe in his prime. Now, he has to fall away on everything now. He doesn't jump like he used to. He's done his vertical. He's made this move. He makes this move about once a game. If you strung together every time Kobe's used this move in the NBA, you'd have like 6,000 points scored off this move where he gets the ball low and he looks like he backs in, fake, then he steps under and he did it on LeBron last night, and LeBron completely bit. And you're like, Kobe still, in spurts, Kobe still got it. Here's Kristine with the news.
Only because you already brought up his name. I know we don't like talking about him, but Johnny Manziel released today. Maybe he was celebrating early, I'm not sure, but he was out for the 4th straight night in LA. This time it was at Hyde on Sunset. Yet again, another place where there are tons of cameras and paparazzi.
Okay, so Johnny Manziel, knowing all eyes are on him, give me the list of places he's been at this week in LA.
One Oak, Ace of Diamonds, Warwick, and Hyde.
And these are places paparazzi stalks.
That is, if you go to those places, there's maybe an 85 to 90% chance that there are going to be cameras outside.
So Johnny Manziel, knowing he should be on good behavior, this is where he's going in LA.
Is looking for cameras. There are plenty of places, as you know, in LA to go without cameras outside.
You know what I think? First of all, I think he's the biggest bust in the history of the NFL first-round quarterbacks. You can say Tim Tebow, he won a playoff game. Jamarcus Russell and Ryan Leaf played. In the history of first-round quarterbacks, he's not playing. There's never been a bigger bust. I almost believe psychologically he doesn't need the money, so he's giving his NFL career up. I think he's going to be like a DJ or a nightclub guy. Like a nightclub guy.
I think he's going to be on a reality show, like Celebrity Rehab or something.
Yeah, I think Johnny Manziel knows deep down it's all over. His career is over.
This is interesting who he was out with, though. I want to know what you think about this. He was out with Von Miller, Odell Beckham Jr., Swaggy P, and Nick and Nate Diaz. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's just a group of dudes.
That doesn't sit... To me, the fact there are 2 football guys out with him, that's a little weird. It makes me think, why are Odell Beckham Jr. and Von Miller hanging out with him?
I think Johnny likes to go out with anybody that'll go drinking with him and hang out with him and have fun with him and chase girls with him.
You don't think that they're friends?
I don't know if just because Ryan Leaf was a disaster doesn't mean he doesn't have friends in the NFL.
All right. New Eagles head coach Doug Peterson's already giving his plan for the quarterback position. He said Sam Bradford is going to be the number 1, Chase Daniel the number 2, and they are working on the number 3. So obviously that makes sense to make Sam Bradford your number 1, signed a 2-year deal worth $36 million. But that means Mark Sanchez is not the number 3. He just said he's still working on it, so that's what that means. And you and Mark Cuban have a lot in common, we've figured out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you do. So he even got you to think about potentially investing in League of Legends, right? So
He did.
you're kind of getting on the same page that way.
Yeah.
So TMZ caught up with him, and he's now agreeing with you when it comes to one of your theories about why the NBA isn't as interesting right now.
What's that?
Here he is.
What about having a villain? What about having a villain? That's why it was good when LeBron went to Miami. They were the villains, right? Right, and so now what?
So you guys both agree that the NBA is better with villains.
Yes, and I have a theory on why the NBA does not do this. It's my theory. I'll bring it up with Whitlock next week because it's got a racial component, and it's really, Jason's so good on those. But the NBA is unfairly criticized, I think, has been through the years. So they've tried to become the nice league. And the truth is, the NFL, which has way more problems and way more domestic problems and way more drug problems, they know rivalries are great and rivalries thrive. And the NBA, because of the unfairness of our culture, is not allowed to have villains like every other league. Because it is I'll get into it with Jason Whitlock. I think it's really, you know where I'm going on this?
Yes.
The NBA has always had to deal with a racial component. David Stern did a dress code once.
Right.
And it was called racism. If you did a dress code in NFL, would race be a component of the argument? The NBA has to be on better behavior because of the unfairness of our culture in America. We do not good God, the Malice in the Palace, that stigma lasted for 15 years. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh played this year in the NFL. There were coaches pulling players' hair. It was an hour later. It's like, hey, that's just football.
I am very much looking forward to that conversation. I didn't think about that.
It's one of those conversations I'd rather have Whitlock around for. I've always thought the NBA commissioner is the toughest commissioner job in American sports because you constantly have to deal with your players getting criticized for stuff other players wouldn't be criticized for. Think about the NBA now.
Why is that?
Who is the worst guy in the... I could go to baseball and list 8 guys with issues. I could go to football, list 80 guys with issues. Who's the bad guy in the NBA? There isn't one. Matt Barnes?
Yeah, Matt Barnes.
There's not a bad... Even Rodman.
Matthew Dellavedova, right?
Rodman
was the dirtiest player.
Rodman was goofy. What a bad guy. He's a goofball. What a terrible guy. He had an alcohol issue.
Yeah.
But the NBA is treated unfairly. It's the way it works in America. And it's too bad because the league needs rivalries and it needs conflict. And the occasional fight isn't a terrible thing.
Okay. During the Lakers-Cavs game, Rick Bucher gave a report that Cavs GM David Griffin spoke with LeBron James about his social media posts. Yesterday, you learned about this. It was called subtweeting.
Yeah.
But he said that LeBron immediately told his teammates what the tweets are about and said that it wasn't about them. And then Rick Bucher said that the sense right now among the Cavs is that they're a little bored at this point in the season. They're waiting until it gets until a time when it matters. And that LeBron is essentially entertaining himself with these tweets. So if this report is accurate, everyone on the Cavs team knows what's up. They know it's not about him. So LeBron is just thinking this is pretty funny.
Well,
so he can get the media all in a...
If I asked our audience right now, 866-987-2570, who's the second best team in the Eastern Conference? There are a lot of people who would say this, and I'm not sure they're wrong. Boston.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Boston is in the middle of a rebuilding process. If you're in the middle of a rebuilding process in the West, it's called the T-Wolves. If you're in the middle of a rebuilding process in the East, you're the second best team. I mean, seriously, it's ridiculous. The East is so bad. You're probably right. LeBron's sitting there thinking, fellas, Washington? Toronto? When's Toronto ever won a big game in this league?
Well, maybe he's being really smart and he's getting all the media to kind of say bad things about the Cavs so they can use it as poster book material.
Interesting. Never thought about it that way. Interesting.
And that is the news.
Kristine, the news.
Well, that's the news.
Thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
Thanks to ZipRecruiter.com. If you're hiring, you can post to 100-plus job sites. Single click, have the highest chance of finding that perfect candidate. Instantly be matched to candidates from over 6 million resumes. ZipRecruiter.com/herd. ZipRecruiter.com/herd. Peter King in 10 minutes. Don't forget, you can get us on iHeart. You can get us on Fox Sports Radio. And today, because we're not on TV, we'll be back Monday, we are on Facebook.com/theherd, and we're live. All our segments are streaming. I don't know what we do during commercials, but I know our segments, we can keep coming back. And when we're on the air, you can watch us all day today on Facebook.com/theherd. Did it yesterday for fun and had 250,000 people stop by.
I'm doing Q&As during the commercials.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so we can be entertained the whole time. Just keep it clean.
All right. I thought about this.
Oh, we've have over 100,000 likes.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome, appreciate it. Facebook.com/theherd. So, there is a report this morning, pretty interesting, that Colin Kaepernick, has interest in the Browns. Now, you wouldn't think, of all the teams available, and a lot of people are interested in Cap, he'd be interested in the Browns. But I was thinking about this. The entry point, the expectations are so low in Cleveland, right? Kaepernick may believe, even if he's so-so, he'll be loved. Now, I don't think that's how the all-time players think. John Elway, Dan Marino. But Cap may feel, nobody loved me in San Francisco in the end. I want to feel that worship, that love, and that respect again. And in Cleveland, moderate success would certainly deliver that. And Cleveland, and this is a term I've used through the years, certain cities have what I would call low sport self-esteem. Like the Mets, as good as they are now, have low sport self-esteem because they played in the shadow of the legendary Yankees. In Los Angeles, the Clippers have low sport self-esteem, even though they're a much better team right now than the Lakers. That Cleveland, because of low sport self-esteem, if anybody shows them any love, they go gaga. I mean, remember when Johnny Manziel was dropping in the first round like a rock? And Johnny Manziel was texting and calling the Browns and saying, let's wreck this league. Props. Let's wreck this league. Had he called the Patriots or the Steelers, they'd be like, no, you're a wreck, not interested. But nobody ever loves Cleveland. And so Johnny Manziel called Cleveland, let's wreck this league. Somebody loves us. Somebody loves the Browns. So Kaepernick in Cleveland is a low sport self-esteem match made in heaven. Cap wants us. Cap could go elsewhere, but Cap loves us. Hey, wait a minute. Cap loves us. And Kaepernick's saying, Cleveland would love me. San Francisco's got options. They had Joe Montana. They've had Steve Young. No, I don't compare. They don't love me. It is a match made in low sport self-esteem heaven. Cleveland feels like somebody loves them, and Cap, who was playing for the organization of Joe Montana and Steve Young, feels like, hey, I can't match that. I'll never be seen as that. But I go to Cleveland, I'm just competing against Brian Sipe and Bernie Kosar. I got a shot to be loved there. And by the way, Hugh Jackson was the Raiders coach back in 2011 when the Niners drafted Kaepernick. And he has said before he was interested. Harbaugh liked him. Hugh Jackson liked him. There you go. 866-987-2570. Rick Bucher stops by today. Thought the Lakers-Cavs was wildly entertaining. Spurs beat the Bulls. Watched about a quarter and a half of that. San Antonio gang is really, really complete. God, they're good. They are really, really good. Let's not hand the Warriors the crown yet. I'm going to break early. Peter King around the corner in Los Angeles on Facebook.com/The Herd Live today. Just for fun. It's The Herd.
Oh, hi. Are we going to do a Q&A?
It's up to you.
Can they ask questions right there?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, guys, start sending
Do
your
it.
questions.
Let's not make it about my weightlifting today. How many people do we have watching?
There's 7.5 live right now. 7.5 thousand. 7,500.
So we lost like 90,000?
No, it's views.
Oh,
as opposed to
views.
steak or sushi.
Neither.
Really?
Yeah, I don't need steak or sushi.
Okay. What's the hardest thing about working with Colin?
It's a really good question. What do you think it is? hardest thing about working with Colin? Maybe he loves to talk. Like loves to talk. But that's a good thing too.
Tacos or burritos?
Tacos with chicken though. I don't like burritos.
Somebody's asking, when is the K Money album dropping?
That's a great question. I think we need to do Mornings with K Sizzle today too. Probably fall of 2016. I'm gonna have some really good features on it too.
Nope. Not a good question.
Inappropriate.
Just like, do you think the Panthers can make it back to the Super Bowl in 2017?
Yes, I do think that they could.
Do you ever want to punch Colin?
No, I don't believe in violence of any sort.
What's your favorite band?
I don't really do bands. I do rap.
Do you ever want to have your own radio show?
Yes. I would like to have my own radio show.
Red or white wine?
Both. I actually only drank white wine for when I was since I was 21, and then I went to Napa last fall and started drinking red, and now I like both.
What's your favorite wine?
My favorite wine? It's called, it's a Riesling, and it's called Cabinet, and I'm trying to think of it's called Cabinet, and it's a Riesling. It's really good. And then there's another Pinot Noir that I really like. I think it's called like Dairy.
Dariouche?
No. I can't think of it, but I know what it looks like. It looks like it's got like a red, like bloodyish kind of top.
Would you rather have dinner with Shannon Sharp or Jason Whitlock?
Jason Whitlock. Jason and I have had dinner before. It's always fun.
Favorite movie?
Clueless.
Dudes with beards or clean shaven?
Like a 5 o'clock shadow.
Favorite sport to play?
Cheerleading. I was a cheerleader.
Greatest rapper of all time?
It's the
Jay-Z.
same as last time.
Eminem, Jay-Z.
Yeah, Jay-Z's good. I like Kendrick Lamar a lot too, but I feel like he's just too new to be called the best rapper of all time.
Somebody asked why you dressed like a sailor.
Like a sailor. Because I'm feeling like Friday and happy, and it's going to rain later, so.
Celebrity you would most like to meet?
Cameron Diaz.
Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac.
Drake or Meek Mill?
Drake.
How many
He went
hours?
back to back, right? And Meek didn't even respond. He still hasn't responded because he's on house arrest.
How many hours of sleep do you get a night?
Not enough. Maybe 5. I'm going to start getting wrinkles. That's my biggest concern.
Nope.
What are you weeding out here, Ross?
LA or New York?
Ugh. I want to say LA because I live here, but I love New York. I'll go
Jack
back
Daniels or Jim Beam?
Neither. Look.
What do you think about 2 Chainz?
I love 2 Chainz. I listened to a lot of 2 Chainz yesterday, as a matter of fact.
LeBron or Kobe?
LeBron. Is that even a question?
Favorite vacation spot?
Napa was really amazing. I like going to Mexico. I want to go to like Italy or something this summer maybe.
J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar?
They're so different, so it's hard to compare. I feel like I was asked that question yesterday too. I would love to see them in concert together.
Dog or cat person?
Dog.
Would you date someone shorter than you?
I wouldn't say hard no, but like, I would have to really like you.
Can you cook? If so, what?
I can cook everything, and I'm a really good baker. Right? You had a cookie you
Yeah,
made.
I can attest to that. Favorite season?
Fall.
Are you good at beer pong?
Yes, I'm very good at beer pong, but I don't drink beer. I put vodka in it.
Favorite TV show?
You know what I've been watching a lot of lately is Flip or Flop on HGTV.
Can you freestyle?
Yeah, just not very well.
Okay.
I think I can.
How much time?
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
And you gotta give me a thought. Oh, here we go, guys. Welcome back. We've had a lot of NFL people in the last couple of days. This time of the year, I don't think you win championships generally through free agency. John Elway did, and I think he's established himself as a really keen evaluator of talent. He worked in arena football for years, and I think John, a lot of times Magic Johnsons of the world are great players. They're not necessarily great executives or great coaches. John Elway has established himself as a guy that really understands talent. I think he's drafted well. I think his free agent signings have been shrewd. Peter King joining us, themondaymorningquarterback.com. And, I talked to Gary Myers yesterday of the New York Daily News, Peter, and he brought up the point. He goes, listen, if Peyton Manning knew Brock was leaving, would Peyton have retired for sure? And I'll ask you that. If everybody knew Brock was leaving, do you think Peyton would have stayed around for maybe one more year?
I still think he probably would have retired, Colin, because he saw the diminution of his skills. Anybody who watched Manning dating back to Thanksgiving 2014, I did a note in the MMQB this week in my column on Monday that Manning's quarterback rating over the last 19 games is 72.
Wow.
He's one of the worst quarterbacks in football over the last year and a quarter. Maybe the worst, not the worst, but one of the worst. And, I think he was going to look at it, and who knows, maybe if they said to him, we really want you back, and did a song and dance. But if you're the Broncos, is bringing back Peyton Manning progress? Now that Osweiler is not going to be there, maybe you'd say, okay, we'd rather have Manning than anybody else out there, but you're just delaying the inevitable. John Elway has always been about the long term as well as the short term, and I think he would blanch at having to spend whatever would be $14-16 million to bring a quarterback back who he really didn't trust was going to play well with. It's just not a smart decision for an organization.
Well, there's no Canadian Football League quarterback or college quarterback they're going to get their hands on. I'll throw a name out to Denver right now. What about a kid like A.J. McCarron, who was at least capable backing up Andy Dalton? Does that make sense?
Well, I said this week, I was alternately called dunce or a genius, mostly the former. When I said if I were Elway, I'd call Cincinnati and offer a 2 and a 4 for A.J. McCarron.
Yeah.
Look, in my opinion, if you go back to the Monday night game, A.J. McCarron against Brock Osweiler, right till the end of the game, A.J. McCarron, I felt, was a better player.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
I think A.J. McCarron could be really good in the right system.
No,
And,
yeah.
I think it'd be a great ad for Denver. Not that, and I don't know that Cincinnati would even do that. Now Denver doesn't have a 4 this year, so they'd have to trade like a 2 this year and a 4 next year for it. Who knows? Would Cincinnati do it? I kind of doubt it, but you never know.
Speaking of dunce or genius, I've been called genius rarely, but I floated this idea. I said, listen, when you open a movie in Los Angeles, you open with a star, and the Rams are coming to L.A., and they're already going to play in USC's football stadium. You want to open up with Case Keenum. What about RG3? He's capable. He's healthy. He's got some skills. He's got some star power. What about Les Snead saying, RG3? I'll roll the dice. Does that sound outrageous to you?
No, it doesn't sound outrageous, but understand one thing, that the Los Angeles Rams opened up their ticket window and basically asked for, and again, what's $50 by people who've got some money? They asked for $50 ticket deposits for people who wanted to buy season tickets to their games. And they got 58,000 people to respond, and that
Yeah. You wrote a piece on Monday Morning Quarterback, and, television and football are copycat leagues. I mean, even the Wildcat had a life for about a year and a half because somebody had success with it. And Denver goes the free agency route and wins the Super Bowl. And in my lifetime, you generally don't do that. You go through the draft and get cheaper labor and build up like a Seattle. But you wrote a piece on Monday Morning Quarterback about the Giants, a blue blood franchise. I mean, they spent a lot of money. That very athletic Olivier Vernon for Miami pass rusher, that's a massive contract. You wrote about how it got done. Can you take us there?
Well, Colin, what I basically wrote was that, Olivier Vernon, in the span of about 8 hours, went from being the property of the Miami Dolphins through transition tag to being almost positive he was going to go to Jacksonville, to then the Giants stepping up with negotiator Kevin Abrams going beyond what anybody in the NFL, I can tell you, people around the NFL were shocked at what the Giants did, at the lengths they went to get Olivier Vernon. And I just think that it says, when you've seen John Mara stand up at the end of the last 2 years and talk about how disappointed he was in his team, well, they went out and spent all this guaranteed money on Olivier Vernon, Damon Harrison, Janoris Jenkins, mostly, And so now they're expecting, they think that they've done enough to get their defense back in gear for this year. We'll see. As I wrote, Olivier Vernon has been the number 3 guy at best.
Yes.
On the Miami defense, along with Cam Wake, and they've got some good players on that defense. And now everybody's going to look at him and say, well, you paid him enough, he ought to be the next Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, they want 13 sacks now. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to get all these sacks now. So I think that's going to be a tough change for him. He's going to have great expectations on him.
Quickly, Johnny Manziel released. Not surprised, right?
Not at all, no. And now, I don't think anybody's going to sign him now, and I don't think anybody should sign him. He's been absolutely enabled through his whole career, going back to high school. And somebody's going to have to give him some tough love and say, okay, we'll sign you for the future, but here's the following things we want you to do. And if you violate any one basic tenet of that in the next 6 months, you're cut. We're not giving you any guaranteed money up front. I think if some team did that, it might be smart, but with no guarantee whatsoever about playing, making the team, would not be at all about football right now. It would be getting his life right. If he's not willing to do that, let him sign somewhere else.
30 seconds. Was there one free agent signing you loved?
Yeah, I like Sean Smith going to the Oakland Raiders. I think he's going to be a day one starter. He's a tall guy. He's always been a tough cover for tall, big receivers. I thought that was a really, really good signing by them.
Yeah. Raiders acting like grown-ups. You can see it. Yeah. Yeah. Lighted.
They overpaid Colecchio Semelli, but he's a good player. But I just have trouble when you see the guard is making $11 or $12 million. Seems a little bit out of control to me, but hey, good for him. He's making good money.
Peter King, MondayMorningQuarterback.com. Thank you, Peter.
All the best, Colin. Thanks.
Isn't that interesting? I asked Peter about what move he liked the best. It was a Raider move. And it wasn't one of the Raider moves we talked about earlier in the week. It's like the Raiders are becoming formidable. They got a starting guard. They got a starting corner. They got a pass rusher with some good drafting. Like the Raiders are becoming a real team. All starts with giving Reggie McKenzie another year or two. Got to be patient. Remember, when you fire somebody quickly, the Jets historically have done this. You're sending the message, we're not going to give you many mistakes. Like fans always want to fire the GM and fire the coach. The problem is it sends a message. We run through coaches. Like what elite coach? Hugh Jackson takes Cleveland because nobody else is offering him the job. No elite coach is going to go to Cleveland because they have a history of firing their coordinators and GMs every 15 minutes. Hour 1 down, hour 2 even better. Facebook.com/The Herd. Watch us live. In Los Angeles, it's The Herd.